Hello, and welcome to Kate's Corner podcast, presented by the Church of St. Catherine Drexel in Ramsey, Minnesota. Join us for new episodes every Thursday as an audio version on SoundCloud or our parish website, or watch our engaging interviews as a video version on YouTube or also our parish website. Please share us on Facebook and with your friends, and thank you for joining us.
My friends, hello. Welcome you viewers and listeners. My name is Todd Flowerday. I serve at the Catholic Church of St. Catherine Drexel in music and liturgy, and occasionally as a podcast host. And today we have, for listening and viewing edification, Terrie N, who is our Parish Council chairperson. Terrie?
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good.
So we've got a couple of burning questions that I've got and possibly that our listeners have. First of all, how do you get to be a member of the Parish Council? Did you have to win an election?
No, there is a process. I believe starting in about April, there becomes, if there's an opening on the board, some announcements are made from the pulpit. Usually we have an opening, and if you're interested, usually talk to one of our trustees.
Okay.
So when that happened, it would have been in 2019.
Okay.
I contacted Kathy Reed and said that I was interested, and so did two other people, and there were only 2 spots available. So then we went through a discernment process,
Okay.
Which is we met and we did some praying and reflecting and talking about what our strengths were and what the church really needed.
Right.
And then actually, there was more than 3 of us. There was actually a couple more. But anyway, and then as the process went, if someone said, I don't want to do this anymore, they could, then at that time bow. When we got to the end, there were 3 of us who still said, yes, we really want to do this. And so then when all 3 still wanted, and there were only 2 positions, then Father Paul ended up, I think, picking straws.
Wow.
That's about how it went down. Now, this last year, only 1 person was interested. We had 1 opening, so there was no discernment process. That person just was able to get on.
They just onboarded like that.
Yes.
Okay. Discernment sounds very interesting. I'd almost rather have that rather than elections.
I mean, it definitely made you reflect on who you were, who you could bring, or what you could bring to the parish.
Sure.
Puts a little bit of faith behind maybe your thought process.
Yeah. Now, some churches I know have elections, but we've never done that here.
No. Then it becomes kind of a popularity contest.
Yeah.
And no one knows me, so I probably... No, just kidding. So, yeah, that's how they've decided to do it here.
Okay. So you have a new role this year.
I do.
And you are the chairperson.
Yeah, who would have thunk, huh?
Now, is that a similar discernment thing, or did you have to get elected by the other people on the parish council?
So I started, it would have been, I can't even remember. I was on it for a year, so probably 2019 through 2020 to now, 2021. And Jim David, who was our council chair, his term was done and he was leaving the council. So we needed a new council chair, and that usually gets decided in the August meeting. And there are certain people whose role that wouldn't be able to fill that.
Like Father Paul.
Father Paul couldn't, our trustees couldn't.
Right.
Richard Taylor, who's the head of the finance person, is also part of the Parish Council. He can't take that role. So the choices just kind of narrowed down.
Right.
And then it became who has time, who has desire, who has time.
Sure.
And right now in my time of life, I'm retired, so I don't have a job. I don't have kids I'm raising, and I don't have elderly parents I'm taking care of.
Yeah.
And other people on the council had those things going on. And so that kind of boiled down to, yes, I'm willing to do it.
Okay, that's good.
So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, so typical meeting, what does a chairperson do?
We basically keep the meeting going. We've all been in meetings where someone goes off on a tangent and you could be on that road on that tangent for a real long time.
Okay.
So the chairperson's job is to keep everyone on track. But before we even get there, I am reminding people there is a meeting, asking for agenda items,
Right.
preparing the agenda, and then just kind of keeping everyone on track. I don't have to take notes. We have a volunteer note taker as part of our council, Michelle Tashney, does a wonderful job. So that's kind of nice that I don't have to kind of direct the meeting and keep track of what's being said at the same time.
Well, that all sounds really well organized, and everybody sort of has their own role, and no single person has too much on their plate.
No, in my 1 year of experience, it doesn't seem like we have someone who tries to overtake the meeting or
Right.
It goes fairly well.
Okay, so that's good to know. So if anybody out there is thinking that they might want to get in on Parish Council stuff, it's not doesn't sound bad at all.
And we meet the third Thursday of the month, so it's 1 month, one Thursday night out of a whole month. So it really is not a huge
Right.
proposition.
And I heard I overheard Father Paul talking with somebody else that these are open meetings. So if you just want to come and check it out.
That would sound about right. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess I haven't talked about that, but that would make sense. That
Okay.
I
All right.
think it's not a closed door meeting that you can't.
Okay, so it's not secret deliberations and
No.
all that.
No.
Okay. So we've come through pandemic year and all of the things associated with that. I'm sure that's very much on everybody's minds these days. But is that one of the big concerns this year for the Parish Council? And if so, or if not, is there maybe one or two other big things coming up on the agenda this year?
Last year, and I think it's been for a while, we have 3 parish goals.
Okay.
One of them is to increase our households to 500 families.
Okay.
We have been in that 440 range for a real long time.
Okay.
And so our goal is to, and also I believe something about, something happens at the archdiocesan level if we would hit 500.
Sure.
We also would like to increase engagement. And that was one of our goals before the pandemic. But I think we all realize that since the pandemic happened, we have people who used to be here who aren't anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And so we want to not only engage the people we have, but maybe try to bring back some of those people who are missing. And then our third goal is to improve communication.
Sure.
So,
So let's roll back to engagement. So by engagement, we're not talking about getting people engaged for marriage.
no,
We're talking about
being part of the parish,
Sure.
interacting. Some of the things that go under our increasing engagement, some of the things we've talked about as a council are, planning things like, let's have some outdoor masses, or what do those synod groups look like? How about generations of faith? How do we get more people?
Sure.
And then just thinking up of some other ideas. We're having Oktoberfest, and that isn't our job as a council to plan or to do, but we can come up with the idea and see if there are people out there who are willing to take it and run with it.
Yeah, that's good, because that also lets our people know is, many hands make light work.
Right.
And we want to have a parish where not just the parish council people only have one job,
Right.
but where everybody does a little bit and then it all pulls together.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Terrie, thank you so much for taking time out of your retired and chairperson schedule to be with us on our podcast today. Any parting thoughts or words to anybody out there watching or listening?
I think we all belong to St. Catherine Drexel because it's a special place, and we can make it what it can be even more by all of our involvement.
That's
and
wonderful.
So don't be afraid to step up, to volunteer, to be a part of something. Like you said, many hands make light work, and I think we all want to see this parish succeed.
Yes.
And the way to do that is to get as many people involved as possible.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, anyway, my friends, those of you viewing and those of you listening, you have been tuned into Kate's podcast. This is a production of the Catholic Church of St. Catherine Drexel in Ramsey, Minnesota. If you are a parishioner, thanks for tuning in. If you are not, add your name to the 440. Have a great day, and blessings on you and your family.